Today, what I'm going to bring to you will be the unboxing of the KH Keeper Plus whatever goodies that it comes inside it, and we're gonna see a brief comparison between the KH Keeper Plus versus the KH Keeper. Stay tuned. Hello reefers, welcome back to JZ Reef, where reefing's made easy. Just a couple of months ago, I did an unboxing and setup guide for this KH Keeper over here. And if you have been following up with the development of Reef Factory and follow closely on their Facebook, you can actually see that there's a small group of consumer or user which actually have quite issue with this. And with that, Reef Factory have actually came out with some announcements saying that they'll be coming out with the new KH Keeper Plus and also the upcoming KH Keeper Pro. Unfortunately, with the COVID situation and freight issues and all, there have been some delay, at least for the Asia counterpart. So, like some of the consumers out there, I was facing some difficulty in keeping an accurate KH reading with my previous KH Keeper. So when Reef Factory actually offered the upgrade opportunity, I thought, well, let's give them a second chance, and we move on to the KH Keeper Plus with a small upgrade fee. The total upgrade fee was about 200 euros, but for Singapore wise, I paid about 370 for an upgrade kit when they include the freight and etc. miscellaneous costs. So here we go, KH Keeper Plus. As you can see, is quite huge even when we were to compare with the previous KH Keeper. Now let's try to get it open and see what we have inside here. Would prefer to use a pen knife, but I cannot find any, so I just have to make do with the scissors, and hopefully I don't damage anything. So as usual, we have instructions menu. You actually have to access the QR code. And we have a nice thick protective foam. Now let's have a close look of what's inside the package. We have our beefy KH Keeper, along with some goodies with built-in compartment. pH 4 solution, which is great. In the past, they just give us some powder, and some of you guys are complaining that I took too long to stir the powder in my previous video. pH 7. Power adapter with adapters for the power adapter, which is quite similar to the previous KH Keeper that we just unboxed. Well, good thing is you don't have to buy an additional reagent just to get started. They included this 150 ml KH Keeper reagent. According to Reef Factory, well, They did mention that the old reagent and the new reagent for the new KH Keeper, there isn't a difference, so rest assured you can use your existing reagent even though you might have already upgraded to the set. The same old hoses, so I'm not gonna go through. It's mainly to draw water into the beaker and reagent and stuff. Replacement tubes. The magnetic stirring peel and the factory reset magnet. They did blast this weighing scale, which will aid us in the accuracy of reagent mixing, I guess. So this is kind of a cool thing that they added in. And last but not least, our KH Keeper. And there you have it, our KH Keeper Plus. In comparison to our existing KH Keeper, there's quite a substantial size in comparison in terms of the width, but generally the height is similar. And you can actually see the hose ports are also labeled as per the older edition. Now let's have a look on what's on the inside. It's the same plastic that they use, which I'm not really a key fan of it because it's a finger magnet, as you can see. One key feature that we actually notice straight away would be an improved pH probe. The removal is sort of slightly different, where previously you have to push it up. Now they actually have this latch over here. Let me see if I can get a closer view for you guys. So the latch over here has pre-drilled holes where you can just slot in and out, which makes removing the jar a lot easier. Oh, okay. So you can tell I was having a bit of difficulty removing the jar. So what happened was there's actually an indent over here where you can actually place your beaker accurately so that the magnet stirring could take on efficiently and spin to mix the reagent to get a reading. Well, that aside, what's interesting would be the pH probe. They actually ship it dry previously. For this round, you can actually see a larger pH probe on the KH Keeper Plus, and good news is that they ship it wet. You can still see a bit of moisture in it, and they also upgraded the pumps. Let me get a closer there. Sorry for blaring light, but I assume the lights was a hindrance. So they improved the pump. As compared to my previous KH Keeper, which has smaller pumps and a way smaller pH probe without the indent, and I have to push carefully not to break anything, or this hose connector out so I can access this little beaker. So this improvement of design is great, at least for maintenance purposes. And there you have it, KH Keeper with KH Keeper Plus side by side. Similar to the KH Keeper, the KH Keeper Plus actually included these holes over here at the back for mounting purposes. Another changing point they made, they actually shifted the reset button to the right side of the KH Keeper Plus, while on the previous KH Keeper is on the left. So what are my initial thoughts after this unboxing with you guys? Well, whatever that comes with the old KH Keeper will come with the new KH Keeper Plus. With the KH Keeper Plus, they did add in some great freebies per se, which actually help to improve the calibration process and the reagent mixing process with this pocket scale. And it's a very good thing that they included this reagent, which you can basically just bring home and just calibrate and set it up and ready for your first test instead of buying it separately. But overall, would the improved probe and the quieter palm resolve my issue of having reading accuracy compared to test kits like Hanna or Saliford? Well, stay tuned, because in my next video I'll go through the setup of KH Keeper Plus with you for those who's interested, and also share some of my readings based on my first initial test. See you then.